Hi guys. So for literature class I had to read this 600-page book called Uncle Tom's Cabin, and I wanted to talk about it aesthetically speaking. I'm not going to evaluate its politics and stuff. That's kind of for class, but basically I just wanted to talk about, is it a fun book to read? So we'll talk about that for a little bit. So it's a very Dickens type book, and then there's a lot going on, and I'm not going to be able to explain the entire plot to you. Basically, there's Tom. Tom is the character that you follow throughout the book. Tom gets sold off of his main place that he's been for years, and he goes down the river to Louisiana, and there he befriends this little girl, and this little girl's daddy buys Tom, and they chill out at this home, and Tom really doesn't have to do much, and then I don't know, I don't want to spoil things. Other stuff happens. The characters that place in particular are really interesting to me, and so that's what I would call like the main crux of the book. There's also a few side characters that are interesting, such as Eliza, who was a runaway slave because they were going to sell her kid. Her husband George is also very interesting, and his political ideas. So yeah, that's kind of an overview of the book. It's like trying to describe a Dickens novel. It's just, there's way too much going on. But, is it good to read? I really enjoyed a lot of the side characters, more than the main characters almost. There is a lot of overdramatic things. We talked about this a lot in class. It's very realistic in some ways, but extremely unrealistic in others, and I think that's because Harriet Beecher Stowe, who was trying to use this story to show and display the plight of slaves in that time. I think a lot of the time she didn't really know what she was talking about because she was a northerner and she'd never been south before. And so she made a lot of it up. Some of it seems real, some of it seems extremely fake, and it's kind of honestly hard to stomach. There is a character named Eva. That's the little girl I was telling you about that Tom befriends, and personally, for my taste, she is way too perfect. She's supposed to be like this embodiment of innocence, and I'm just like, you know me, I'm a realist, and I'm just like, no, please no. Don't make me read this character who is a literal angel. But then again, there's a lot of other characters who are very realistic, and who are extremely multifaceted. For instance, all the rest of Eva's family, Ophelia and Augustine St. Clair, extremely interesting characters who have tons of complexity to them. I mean, Tom himself is a complex character, albeit a little boring and sometimes not really talked about. Usually it's most of the other characters that you pay attention to. But yeah, there's just a lot of complexity, and I really like, you spend a lot less time with Eliza and George, who I talked about, but I think they were the best characters for my taste. I would rather have had a tiny book just telling their story than this big giant book of mixed bag. But overall, it's the kind of book that'll really get you to think. It's the kind of book that is easy to imagine, kind of. It's easy to figure out what the mindset of the people at the time that this book was written was. So you get kind of a glimpse into the culture of the past. And I mean, this was the most read book at the time other than the Bible. It was this and the Bible. So yeah, it'll give you a really good look at the culture of the time, which is something that interests me. I really enjoy reading books to get to know the culture of the time period that I'm reading, and the place. So yeah, intellectually, it is a very interesting book to read. Now, am I going to put it on my favorite books to read shelf? No, and it's not going to go there. And if I didn't have to buy it for school, I probably wouldn't have bought it. But it is a very interesting read, and it's worth picking up for a little bit, and just going through. So yeah, that is my review of Uncle Tom's Cabin. I'll see you guys later.